listening to Sports Radio Detroit.
Hello and welcome to Grave Discussions. I am Barnabas.
And I am Samael.
And welcome to episode number 21, Boys and Ghouls, where today we're going to be focusing on a kind of different subject, but a very interesting subject, I feel like, in the horror community, especially with the resurgence of horror movies in the mainstream. We've also seen kind of a resurgence in horror video games.
Yeah, we have.
And you and I are both like huge fans of horror video games.
Oh yeah, we're definitely fucking nerds when it comes to that shit.
Yeah. So we're going to be discussing pretty much everything about horror video games today in our main segment. But as always, we're going to start off with some news. Before we do that, though, we just want to give real quick shout outs to our hosts, Sports Radio Detroit. And where can people find out about them, Sam?
They can find them on Facebook, on Instagram, and I believe they also have a Twitter. That's Sports Radio Detroit. If you look up SRD, you'll find them.
Yeah, you go check them out on all their social media. And of course, you can check them out at the website as well, sportsradiodetroit.com. You can do a quick Google search, whatever. Our show is on there, and all the other excellent shows that they host are on there as well. So give them a look. So starting off with the horror news today, probably the biggest piece of news that has come out within the last few days has to be about Zombieland 2. It is coming back in 2019. What do you think about that?
I think that's dope. The first time I saw this shit was like, what was it, like I want to say 12. I'm not sure when I watched it.
I don't remember when the original came out, but I mean, it was like earlier in the 2010s.
But it looks like, is everyone coming back?
Yeah,
everyone's coming back.
Yeah, the whole original cast is set to come back, with the exception of Bill Murray, of course, because he died in the first one. Spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm.
But all the original cast is supposed to come back, and the film is slated to begin production in January of 2019. And has an October 2019 release date. And the basic plot synopsis says, through comic mayhem that stretches from the White House and through the Heartland, the zombie slayers must face off against many new kinds of zombies that have evolved since the first movie, as well as some new human survivors. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I mean, I love the first movie.
Yeah, that shit was funny as hell. I really like that shit. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah. I was wondering if they were ever going to make a second one, but...
Yeah, I know that fans were like really wanting a part 2, as was I. So I'm excited about it. I really love Woody Harrelson. I love Emma Stone.
Dope.
Yeah. I mean, Jesse Eisenberg is like kind of whatever, but but he's all right.
Weirdo.
Yeah, he's all right. But I'm excited about that. And speaking of Bill Murray, though, just as a real quick side note, if you do want to see him in something horror related,
oh man, yeah, I didn't expect this, but this looks fucking dope. He looks badass. He's gonna be in a fucking zombie movie.
Yeah, Bill Murray is gonna be starring in a new zombie film called The Dead Don't Die, which is supposed to be directed by Jim Jarmusch, who just recently did Only Lovers Left Alive with Tom Hiddleston and Tilda Swinton. It was a vampire movie. I didn't get a chance to check it out, but I heard it's really good. So yeah, this one should be exciting.
I saw like a movie poster for that. I was scrolling through this like streaming site, and they had that. Was it good? Have you seen it?
No, I missed it, but I heard it's really good. So a lot of people are really excited about this one, and I mean, anything with Bill Murray should be a classic.
Selena Gomez is going to be on this.
Yes, Selena Gomez, Adam Driver, Chloe Sevigny, Steve Buscemi. This is a fucking star-studded cast.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah, this is like an A-list cast. So
Rosie Perez too.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for that one.
Damn, that's just fucking packed with stars.
Yeah. The next big piece of news here is actually related to our main segment, but we're just going to give it a quick mention and just expand on it later. But speaking of horror video games, if any of you are fans of System Shock, which came out in the 1990s, you probably already know this, but the game's supposed to be getting like a reboot.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just news about the studio, Night Dive Studios. They're going to be releasing what they're calling an adventure alpha in September of the game. So basically this is supposed to be
We're gonna get like a little demo of it.
Yeah, just a real like quick, I think it's like one level where I don't even think you face any enemies, but it's just going to give you kind of access to basically what they're working on, you know, just to kind of check the game out, look at all the graphics and everything like that, just kind of test out the gameplay.
Was this a PC game?
Yeah, I believe it was a PC game. I mean, it was really one of the first, like, you know, bigger, like, PC horror games. So that should be pretty exciting. I never got to play the first one, so I'm like, really interested in this game coming out soon. So, yeah, be on the lookout for that. We're going to talk...
I'll try it out, why not?
Yeah, we're going to talk a bit more about it. I mean, all I know is that the original was, like, super influential for horror gaming, so... speaking of influential, though, this next bit of news is really exciting for us. If any of you are fans, which you should be, of Creepshow, it's coming back.
Dude, I fucking tripped when I read this shit.
Yeah.
Next year, they're bringing back these fucking short horror tales, bro. And, like, they were basically, like, based mostly off of Stephen King stories.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I got, like, super excited about this one is, like, the more recent Stephen King stories, I was wondering, do you think they're gonna bring these on to Creepshow, or do you think he's like too what's it called, mystery suspenseful now, instead of leaning more toward like the horror side?
I don't really think that matters. I mean, I think he's still putting out like a lot of horror content. The thing about Creepshow was, though, that some of those stories were original works for Creepshow, and some of them were taken from, you know, like short story collections that he's done. So he has still been like writing short stories, so I wouldn't be surprised. But I did see something that for the most part these are supposed to be original, they're supposed to be original stories, and each one is supposed to be helmed by a different filmmaker.
Okay, that sounds fucking dope.
Yeah, so I have no idea what kind of, you know, impact Stephen King is going to have on this show. I mean, I hope he at least gives it his blessing. You know, but from what it sounds like we're going to be getting all original stuff.
Greg Nicotero's directing it, so I think it's going to be dope. I mean, anytime you bring like a big name in horror into it, like they don't release trash, bro. Like this is why we respect like the older dudes. Like,
yeah. He's supposed to be directing the premiere episode, and then he's going to serve as the executive producer. So yeah, that should be really exciting. I'm super pumped about that.
Yeah, and when do you, you said 2019? I hope it comes around like October-ish, like Halloween time, so we could just fucking...
that'd be cool. I mean, honestly, I don't care if it comes out even earlier, you know, like the sooner the better. And of course, Shudder is supposed to be the ones that are distributing the show. So, man, Shudder is just like climbing the ranks, honestly. Like, I'm super excited about that.
Thank God we have that shit.
Yeah, I can't wait for the new Creepshow at all. Next up, though, is a bit of disappointing news, so why don't you tell the folks about this one, Sam?
Okay, so, like, Netflix terminated a deal with the Weinstein Co., and that would be including what I was really anticipating, which was the third season of fucking Scream on Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's...
I know. So, I mean...
Pick it up, Hulu. People watch fucking Hulu, mainly for TV shows, but...
Yeah. I mean, so this whole bit of news is a little confusing, just because I don't like completely understand all the fucking jargon and stuff. But basically, Netflix had an agreement with, you know, the Weinstein Co.
Basically, they needed a deadline and they didn't make it, so they should have like gave the content by like July 11th, and now they have like no legal obligation to even like accept any like...
Well, I think the whole thing was that obviously since Harvey Weinstein and that whole shit happened,
fuck that guy.
I mean everything was just kind of up in the air, and so yeah, basically Netflix isn't trying to stream anything Weinstein related, including Scream. So basically it's going to get shopped around, and hopefully another streaming service will pick it up. But I don't think it should really have that much impact on whether or not it's going to show on MTV, unless MTV is done with it. I haven't completely like done my research on it, so if anybody knows like for sure what's happening, let us know. But basically, what it kind of sounds like is that there's still hope for Scream season 3, but for the moment, it's not going to be on Netflix. So that's pretty much that. Moving on, we've got a couple cool trailer announcements for you guys. The first one I'm just going to go over briefly, but this is actually probably the thing I'm most excited about.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we grew up watching Sabrina on, like, that. I don't know if it was on Nick or whatever the fuck it was, or ABC Family, but, like, it was like a goofy little show, you know? Like,
it was on.
Well, now this is going to be more intense, I'm assuming. Like, it's gonna be like it's gonna have like a serious undertone.
Yeah, so there was a teaser trailer for the chilling adventures of Sabrina.
It was like a 10-second little.
Yeah, it was a real quick teaser, but basically this is going to be a series revolving around the character of Sabrina Spellman and all those characters that you know from that show. But Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is actually based off of a graphic novel. And that graphic novel is supposed to like be actually scary, and it's supposed to be like really dark and intense, because really the whole like story around it is about these witches, you know. So it makes sense for it to be like a dark, more actually horror centric, you know, story and characters and everything. So that's what Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is going to be. And the teaser trailer is cool. It's got these kind of snippets like from the comic, and I really like comic book adaptations, you know, into stuff, especially if it's something like this, like a horror comic.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about this one. So yeah, Netflix is supposed to be releasing this, and I don't think that there's a release date quite set yet, but go check out the teaser trailer. It's super short. Next up, we have probably the biggest trailer announcement, at least of today. This one's already circulating all over social media and stuff, mostly because it's J.J. Abrams.
Nazi zombies.
Yeah.
Nazi zombies everywhere.
So you may have already seen this one, but it's a trailer for this movie called Overlord, which is set to be done by J.J. Abrams. So it does not have any relation to the Cloverfield stuff, apparently. It's just going to be kind of its own movie. It's just kind of been like top secret, kind of, I guess. But the film is basically supposed to be about, like, think Wolfenstein, basically. So all the supernatural, like, black magic occult shit of, like, World War II Nazi Germany. That's basically what this movie is going to be about. So that's actually something I'm, like, really, you know, kind of interested in, because I feel like it's a fascinating subject.
I'm not, like, super excited. But I am a fan of Nazi zombies. I got tired of regular zombies because Walking Dead kind of ruined every type of zombie thing for me.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you bring in zombies with anything else and make it, like, kind of, like, ridiculous, like Nazi zombies or, like...
Have you seen Dead Snow?
No.
Oh, dude. That's the Nazi zombie movie.
Is it?
Yeah. It is so good.
Oh, I remember the front cover. Okay, but I've never seen it. Dude, is it really good?
It's really good. You have to see it. So that's probably like the definitive.
Nothing
Nazi
really
zombie
topped
movie.
the like 03 Dawn of the Dead for me.
I mean, if we were talking about zombie movies,
maybe
then
28 Days Later.
Okay.
28 Days Later kind of takes the cake for goat zombie movie for me.
Well, I feel like this is a topic that we definitely have to expand upon more.
Okay.
Yeah, but probably another episode. But go check out the trailer for Overlord. It looks. Here's the only reason that I'm not like a super fan of it, because it looks like it's going to be more like action based.
I kind of like it though. I kind of
like
like action-y horror movies, but like it's kind of gonna be missing that suspense. Like it's not like it's like three teenagers at an abandoned house,
right?
And then like they hear something weird, then they just start running from zombies. It's not like Wreck, you know. It's like
it does kind of seem like it's not going to be quite as suspenseful, but the makeup and special effects and everything
it looks
great,
really fucking good.
Yeah, so
it's not Return of the Living Dead though. I'll tell you that much.
I don't think any movie is ever going to be that. I mean, just, straight up. So, the next trailer we have here is about the movie called Good Manners.
More werewolves, finally.
Mm-hmm. It's a Brazilian movie, and the whole werewolf thing is not super explicit in the trailer until, like, kind of the end. But, we're getting another werewolf movie, and this one's supposed to be kind of a mixture of genres, which is always either, like, super hit or super miss. So... apparently the early reviews are positive, but it looks pretty good. I mean, it's about this woman who becomes basically a live-in nanny for this pregnant woman, and the pregnant woman starts exhibiting these like weird, symptoms, and you can kind of figure like she's probably a werewolf, but she has this child that she's pregnant with, and the child is doing all sorts of like blah, in her womb and shit. So the child's probably a werewolf, but I don't know. It looks pretty solid. Like, I'm interested. I'm always interested in werewolf movies.
There hasn't been a werewolf movie in a long time. At least one like of relevance. What was the last one that we had? Was it Wolfman? I think Wolfman was like the last one I saw.
Now Late Phases came out, and then we had a movie called Howl, I believe, that was like a UK production. That one came out, I think, in like 2016 or something. That one was pretty good. Yeah, it was good. It was it all took place on a train, so it was pretty interesting. I liked it.
That sounds intense.
Yeah, it was good. And then kind of on the opposite side, the next trailer here is going to be about vampires. It's called Fanged Up, and this one looks like it's basically a straight up horror comedy, kind of in the vein of Shaun of the Dead, but with vampires in a prison.
Oh man, yeah. That sounds like it could be a total fucking bomb. I don't know what they're thinking nowadays, but
yeah, I mean,
oh man, I mean, if it's supposed to be a comedy, like,
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's supposed to be like a super comedy, like,
oh, for real?
Yeah, like I don't really think it's gonna have any like suspenseful elements like that, because Shaun of the Dead was basically like that too. I mean, it was all just bonkers,
It was straight up comedy.
Yeah, so this kind of looks like the same thing. So it could be good, it could be bad. It's a UK production, just like Shaun of the Dead. So I mean, I think it has potential just based on that. But cause honestly, I think they're really good with comedy. So we'll see. But be on the lookout for Fanged Up. Next up, though, we're going to be talking about a really classic film in this episode's installment of The Cult Corner.
Barnabas.
Yes, Sam.
I know what you did last summer.
Do you know what I still did last summer?
Yeah, we were sitting here.
You always know what I did last summer?
I'll forever know what you did last summer. That's the new one.
Oh, what was the third one? I swear to God, it was.
I still and always. I'll always know what you did last summer.
What was part two?
Part two was where they went on.
What you did last summer?
Yeah, that's when they went on vacation in the boat.
Yeah.
And then the third one was when the spirit came out. I really like that one. Yeah.
Yeah. The third one was just fucking a mess. I don't know how else to say.
The kid gets killed during that accident at the fair or whatever the fuck. Anyways.
Yeah, anyways. This week's Cult Corner is about the classic I Know What You Did Last Summer.
And this baby came out in 97, prime era. 90s babies rule. Yeah. It was just so good, bro. We're the best. But anyway. Yeah, this was in light of the whole, like, this was like a baby of Scream, basically.
Yeah.
So this was that era of slasher, like
Scream, this fucking Urban Legend.
Those are the 90s styles, like teen slashers. They were all like either like at a school or like the kids are being followed by a killer and he's like threatening them, but he's not really threatening them, and they start disappearing. Yeah, and it's just really good.
Yeah, it is really good.
Very good.
I like that there's always like this real like mystery behind it, like, and Cherry Falls, that was another one. There's always
so good. That one was fucking crazy.
I love that movie. There's always like
Lover's Lane. Have you ever watched that?
No, but I know about it. Yeah,
it's on Prime now.
Yeah, it's on my list. Yeah. But
I added some more on my list, by the way. We gotta check them out.
We do, yeah. But all those movies are, like you said, they're Scream babies. So I Know What You Did Last Summer still was able to become its own film, it really was. Which I liked. But it kept all like those same elements, the mysterious killer, the plot twists, all the interpersonal relationships of this group of friends, and they all have secrets with each other. Like that's really all those movies were.
Even Scary Movie and Shriek, if you know what I did last Friday the 13th, they both had elements of Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer in there, sort of like kind of taking a stab at both. You get it? Taking a stab? I get it. Taking a stab? I get like Stab, the movie, and Scream?
I get it.
Okay. So, like, that's what, like, they were basically trying to say, like, this is the comedy baby of, like, the 90s style slashers. Yeah. And, like, early 2000s. And they all sort of held this sort of style. Like, there's teens in trouble. Like, the focus, like, goes away from, like, any kind of people, like town folk or, like, old gothic folk. Like I said, back in, like, the 80s, like, when the slasher craze started, like we got away from monsters and like the gothic stuff, and we came to like the modern like era, you know, like, and then 90s came out. 90s was like they were less cheesy, but like the quality of the movies and like some of the movies you still have super nostalgia and some of them are great, but like 80s has I think 80s just has a lot more better movies because 80s has a lot more horror movies in general.
Yeah,
but like
true,
to 90s where these movies were at, I think was a good place. And once they started all these sequels and shit, that's what kind of ruined it. Like, except Scream. Scream kind of did it good. I mean, I love all the Screams, but I Know What You Did Last Summer. The first one's like super classic. There's not there's not another movie like it. Maybe Urban Legends. Urban Legends is just some crazy.
Yeah, they're very similar, but obviously the concept of the urban legend thing versus like the undead revenge seeking. There's another ghost.
If you can get your hands on it, actually I have it. I'll show it to you.
Okay.
But pause. But there's this movie. It's kind of like these Scream. I Know What You Did Last Summer movies. It's called not Final Exam. But it's Final Examination. It's an independent movie.
Oh, okay.
And, like, it has, like, this sort of tone. And, like, when you find out who the killer is, you're like, shit.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I like these kind of movies, I would say, like, probably the most out of, like, the slashers.
Yeah, they're great. Because, I mean, they're just, obviously.
I mean, we kind of grew up watching it,
we were born in the 90s. And these kind of movies are supposed to be, like, super indicative of the culture at the time, And, I mean, it's the same thing with all the 80s slashers. Like, that's why people like them, because people in that era can relate to them, especially kids.
I mean, look who was in this movie. We had, oh my God, I miss him so much. Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
Him, Ryan Philippe. Is it Philippe?
I think so, yeah, Ryan Philippe.
Okay, I want to say Felipe. Sarah Michelle Gellar as Helen and Jennifer Love Hewitt as Julie. Like, this was, like, one of my favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, look, this had Sarah Michelle Gellar too, just like Scream did. So like she was on this first, and then Scream was like, "All right, guys, you want to use our concept of a killer? We're gonna borrow your actress." Like,
she was like a super relevant actress, like of that age.
I think this is my favorite Jennifer Love Hewitt movie, besides the movie with Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
What was that?
Was it the Tuxedo or something? Was that it? Yeah, I think so.
Like, this movie, like, they had a budget of 17 mil, so it wasn't low budget. But, like, they came back with like 125.2 million and counting now, because like these DVDs still sell, the merch still sells. Like, there'll always be
super nostalgic.
I mean, they had a ASCAP award.
Yeah. Because I mean, basically,
Blockbuster Entertainment Award, 3 of them.
Not the people that were our age, obviously, because we were like really young when it came out, but the teenagers of our age, like when this movie came out, they're probably like still the biggest collectors now. So the nostalgia is just through the roof, and the 90s was a different time, but this movie kind of examining 90s culture, that was one of the biggest themes. And obviously, all the duplicity and all the hiding shit from your friends, people that you think are close friends, but they're really somebody else. Like, those themes were so ever present, and they were big themes in the 90s kind of in general. I mean, that's why Scream became the huge success that it was, because it highlighted all those things.
And I don't know why this one missed with the critics, because you pointed out 35% on Rotten Tomatoes. What the fuck is wrong with you old farts?
Yeah, for real.
You ever look, and they give, and those are the fuckers that'll give like some of the 60s movies like 100%. But like, don't get me wrong, like most people like, yo, it's a good movie. No, like a lot of people are like, you know what you really mean? It's good for its time. You ever watch a movie from like the 60s, the 50s? That shit is like horrendous almost.
I mean, there are some films obviously that are still really good, but looking back at them,
you're like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck did we ever see? Like, I mean, I watched those movies as a kid, and they were kind of dramatic because I haven't seen movies before. But those were like the first type of movies I watched, like old westerns and black and white and shit on TV Land and all that. And then you look at the modern era, and it's like much more like we've come a long way. I think
so much more
advanced. People are afraid to admit that. I think once these older critics die and like these like younger critics stop like falling into like the like these like this like stupid ass thought process of like, yo, an oldie a goodie, right? This one, nothing will be better than this. Like, yo, I Know What You Did Last Summer was better than most 80s slashers. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right.
Think about the bad slashers of the 80s, bro.
Yeah.
There's way more bad than good.
That's true, for sure.
And I Know What You Did Last Summer, at least, we'll remember it. Like, if someone, I could be in a coma for 30 years, wake up, they'd be like, yo, you remember I Know What You Did Last Summer? I'd be like, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., like the napkins in the lockers and the guy with the hook. Like, they'll be like, yeah, you got it spot the fuck on. If they're like, yo, do you remember New Year's Evil? something about a guy killing women on New Year's because he's a misogynist. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was definitely due to the fact that, like you said, the 80s had so much shit. The 90s...
I mean,
honestly,
but I'm gonna be fair though. There is a little bias on both of our ends for I Know What You Did Last Summer, because like there is nostalgia because we like the way they dressed, the snacks they were eating, and like we remember that. Like the old guys don't give a fuck what snacks they're eating what snacks are out, or when they're 90, or like what the kids dress like. But we did because like we grew up there, so I guess there's a bias.
Now when
there.
we watch it, we could be like, oh shit, you remember those? You know,
it makes me sad though.
That's why that movie was good. You know.
Speaking of snacks,
what are you trying to say? Are you giving me a compliment? Do I look like a snack?
You look like a buffet, but
oh, thank you.
The point here is, I think I Know What You Did Last Summer is not as good as we might think, but like it's not as bad at all as what the critics say.
Yeah,
there's no fucking way. Like Toy Story can get 100%.
Yeah,
and this gets a 30.
But it's undeniable
Toy
that
Story got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's undeniable that this movie is a cult classic. You know, all the nostalgia, all the elements and the themes and everything.
I really liked it, bro. It was like really creepy. It was like it was better than like most of like the whodunits. You know, like.
Yeah, I mean,
it was almost like
it was great.
If we saw the kills from like the first person, that would have been like a giallo in nature.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But see, that's the thing with Scream too, and those '90s things, and like even Happy Birthday to Me, they everyone like kind of borrows from the giallo when it comes to like, if you pay attention to a lot of the '90s movies, because like I think they were so over that '80s craze. They're like, yo, what was working before that? And like,
yeah. I mean, it was definitely a completely different type of movie. So I really enjoyed it,
and I really recommend it. Rewatch value too. This is a movie you can literally watch every Friday night, buying popcorn from your local video store like a weirdo and just sitting.
And it's enjoyable, because
it really is.
It's suspenseful, but it's also just like a fun watch. You know, all those movies of this type were exactly like that.
It's always a fun watch. This is like. When Halloween comes around every year, when you play your favorite, like most people do that, they play their favorite like horror movies around then, and they're on TV. Like this is what's gonna be on, and this is what people are gonna be playing.
Yeah, I bought like I randomly found this like triple pack of like the first 3 movies. I didn't even know they made a part 3, honestly.
Oh man,
and
let's not get into that.
Yeah,
part 2 was really good though.
Part
oh my god,
good,
part 2 was good. Didn't we watch it here?
I think so, but I really liked the setting of that film. You know, like it had pretty much all the same elements. I wouldn't say it was like as iconic, obviously, but yeah, part 2 is really good, but part 1 is like in a whole different level, you know.
Part 1 was like on a whole different level than like a lot of horror movies. Like I still think like there's not really many modern horror movies I can think of, like even to me, that match up to I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah. I mean, I just...
There hasn't been a good... Like, Strangers? No. That was good. Yeah. That kind of made me, like, have some hope for slashers.
Yeah, I just miss, like, the whole, like, mystery element behind these slasher movies,
like,
too.
yo, there's some weird fucking kid or some guy killing us off, and he's watching us, like... Yeah. Oh, there was another one. It was a Wes Craven one. The Ripper?
I don't remember.
Wes Craven's... Like, it was like...
I think I know what you're talking about, but, yeah, I don't completely
That was another good one.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, hopefully we see more movies like this, but I think it's time to move on.
It is.
To our main segment now. Go check out 10, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
10 out of 10. 20 out of 10.
Yeah, great
50
film.
out of 10.
Great film.
Great film.
But right now we're going to talk about, kind of an emerging topic, which is horror video games. Now, there have always kind of been horror video games, but we'd see some released like every now and then, but now I think over these last, I don't know, like 2-3 years or something, we've just seen like a huge resurgence. Like there's really good like AAA titles and shit coming out like pretty often now. We saw it with like Amnesia, The Dark Descent, Outlast.
Oh, Outlast is so good. Slender.
Yeah, Slender.
Slender was so fucking good. Evil Within.
Even all the new Resident Evil games coming out are pretty good.
I'm glad they're sticking with it. Who Killed Me? Have you played that? Like,
I have not played that one though.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah, I haven't had like a chance to play a lot of like the horror video games. I've just been kind of getting more into them
Layers
recently,
of Fear is good too.
I heard about that one. Yeah, it was on I had it on my Steam wish list. Like,
it's free.
like I think I still have it. No, it's like I don't know, a couple bucks or something.
Oh,
like
you
$8
guys
or
got
something.
you guys are PC.
Yeah.
PC try hard.
I know.
We the gamers.
I prefer playing those games on there though, but yeah, you do have to pay for it on there.
I feel weird playing with a controller like the first game was made and how games have been made to play.
I'm not like that.
Why can't
but
I just press letters?
certain games I prefer on the PC.
Douchebags.
Anyway, you're a son of a bitch.
PC douchebag.
I have a PS4 and a Switch, so I mean I'm an all around gamer.
Yeah, I know.
But I know some people are like that about PC.
I'm
though,
just pulling your cape.
I know. But yeah, horror video games are a huge topic now, and I think like as technology advances, like the more immersive these games get, like the scarier they get.
So let's get into the history
of.
So, as far as I can remember, for the Atari 2600, the first horror game I can think of was Halloween. It was like a Michael Myers game.
Uh-huh.
So you're a babysitter, and you're walking through the house, and eventually Michael comes up, and you got to take the kid and run through the room, and it's really super pixelated.
Yeah.
And like when he hits you in the head, your head pops off, blood comes out, and your arms wave up and down. And there was like a bunch of haunted house games, and then came the Nintendo Entertainment System. So Castlevania, which is like in my top 5.
Yeah.
So that came out, like horror, like gothic-y horror was kind of brought there, but like modern horror really wasn't there. And then they brought Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street to the NES, which in Friday the 13th you throw rocks at zombies, try to collect notes so that you can get stronger weapons and face Jason. You got to kill Jason 5 times, and you kill his mom, and then you kill him, or do you? It was like the first screen too that said, this is also my top 5, Friday the 13th for the NES and for the console and PC. But the old one, like when you die, it says you and your friends are dead.
Oh yeah.
Game over. That should be like the little Instagram thingy for this. You and your friends are dead. Game over.
Be cool, yeah. Yeah, it's a good thought. I mean, yeah.
And then we went from like I'm sorry, but we went from like then like Nightmare on Elm Street. You run through like a really really cartoony haunted house setting. You jump over spiders, and like Freddy comes to get you. You gotta wake yourself up with a radio.
Oh, wow.
And then we kind of transitioned into like the PS1, which there wasn't really many. So you gotta like, then we had to like, it wasn't really horror, but like the Diablo for PC brought it all back. And then like slowly we kind of saw horror games start to die off until I think the Xbox, the PS2, and then like those bigger consoles came along, and then like we just had a whole slew of like horror games.
I was gonna say, I mean, I think it really did kind of start with the PS1, even though there were points where it wasn't really doing so hot. But I mean, games like that was where I started, my horror video game, I guess, experience, because like those older games for like the NES and stuff, I never owned that. My first console was actually a PS1.
Shit.
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of felt a little behind, but I didn't really know it at the time.
Nintendo 64 had some horror as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like the PS1 with the graphics and everything was really kind of the first like big step for horror video games, because it moved from this fucking 2D 8-bit pixel kind of shit,
like the polygons and shit from Nintendo,
to actually, I mean, looking back at it now,
there
obviously the graphics were garbage
for like the Sega CD. They had like Night Trap, and they had like all these like creepy games. Like you could check out Angry Video Games, like Sega CD thing, and like see like, but those weren't like, people weren't like really like clamoring.
Yeah, I mean,
because like pre-ordering them,
because they weren't like super immersive, right? Like,
and
they were so obvious that it was all like just like 8-bit fucking video games.
Yeah,
and
they
shit.
used like
it wasn't scary.
They used like crappy full motion video.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I'd rather be full fucking screen as AVG.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, they weren't really like scary, but like the first games that I had experience with, like as a kid, for like the PS1, were actually really influential on me. Like Dino Crisis. I don't know if a lot of people know about that game, but that game was scary as fuck to me, because you're literally, I mean, the graphics were better. It was like Resident Evil style graphics. Like you're just wandering around this like facility where this like crazy like thing has happened, and you just come face to face with dinosaurs. Like there are barely any humans there. Everything's like broken and shit. Like you come across this one scene where you're like walking along this like corridor upstairs or something, and there's just a huge like broken window, and when you cross into the window, this fucking like T-Rex head just like comes up through the window and like starts snapping at you and shit. Like as a kid, that was terrifying.
There's also there's a new horror game coming out called The Last Year for PC.
Yeah.
So you could be like one of a few killers killing kids and setting traps inside of a school. So this is, there's like couple settings. There's a camp, which is like kind of like a knockoff of Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
But I'm still super excited. I might just get a PC just so I can play this, or because I don't want to wait for it to come on console. Because
it does look super cool, and it's basically kind of taking off the formula of like Dead by Daylight.
Yeah,
which is a newer horror game, but
that's my favorite. That's my number one on my top 5.
Yeah, I do really love that game.
Nothing gets my anxiety rushing like when I'm fixing a generator and then an 8-foot monster just runs up to me and I don't even see it coming.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight is excellent because it lets you. I mean,
every game is different.
That's one of the one.
Same concept every game, but you have over 20 maps
because it's multiplayer. Yeah.
You have over 20 maps, over 16 characters.
Yeah. But that's one of the horror video games that actually lets you be in the shoes of the killer, which
and you
I
can
really
still
like.
watch your teammates when you die, so you can see if they make it. Like Friday the 13th, they'll kick this all off for me in the past year, and Outlast. I really liked Outlast.
Yeah.
But like Friday the 13th was like really hype. I made some cool friends on Xbox Live through Friday the 13th, and like that was like one of the big ones for me. That's like my second favorite horror game ever.
Yeah.
Like the most recent one because like. I mean, they have every single Jason. The kills are canon to the movies. Then you have the single-player mode where you can kill bots. And then they have the single-player challenges where you can, like, relive the movie kills and do everything, like... And, like, it really brought back some memories for me, man. And, like, they have so many Easter eggs that you only would remember, like, if you remembered, like, certain things they said in the movies. And, like, it just really tugs at my heartstrings, bro. That shit is dope. Like, I really love the Friday the 13th games. Like, I want Jason to be alive forever. You cannot die, Jason. You can never die. You're mommy's little boy.
Yeah, she said so. But yeah, man, I mean, I think that puts us into a whole different like topic of, multiplayer horror games, which have honestly, been on the rise. They never really existed that much, but I think they've definitely been, catapulted by the resurgence of horror films in the mainstream in general. But the multiplayer games are excellent. I mean, that one, Dead by Daylight. I'm not really sure what else there is, but like The Last Year's coming out. I'm sure there are a few more. I mean, those games are big,
Dying Light's pretty big.
Yeah, Dying Light is
Evil
cool.
Within. Like Evil Within
I love
is one of the
Evil
best.
Within, yeah.
I played the first one, bro. That's like one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah, mine too. I think that honestly, I would say that is my favorite horror game ever. And I really liked part 2 as well.
I think I played the second one, actually. I beat both of them. What am I saying?
Yeah, part 2 was excellent. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to close off on, some of the history. I mean, the PS2 definitely started up. And once we started getting into games like The Evil Within, that's where it really took off. And even like Resident Evil, such a huge inspiration.
Yeah, for me, like, it was the Resident Evil 2 for the Nintendo 64. I had it. Yeah. I bought a used version, so I had another guy's save game. So as soon as I loaded up, I had to fight this giant dude in the subway that was just beating the shit out of me.
They're supposed to be rebooting it, and I never actually got to play 2. Yeah.
Oh my god, bro, that's the best one. That's the best one.
I never got to play it, so I'm super excited.
For one?
I think it's probably going to come out for PS4 and Xbox One, and probably for PC. I'm not sure yet exactly, but
you don't know the date?
No, but the Resident Evil 2 reboot is in the works. It's going to be coming out. There's a lot of good horror games coming out, but yeah, I mean, this whole influx of movies is really catapulting it. But I mean, it's kind of been the opposite. Like, a lot of interesting and pretty good horror films have come out based off of these games as well. I mean, we saw stuff like Doom, which we didn't really talk about, but Doom was crazy influential, not only for gaming in general, but also for horror gaming. Resident Evil, fucking Silent Hill. Silent Hill is
What about Doom Jr., the one we know as Quake?
Oh yeah, Quake.
Quake was so fucking good. I don't know why people don't talk about that more.
I feel like it's not exactly like horror related.
I mean,
and there hasn't really been like
it's just like big mutants trying to kill you.
Yeah, but there hasn't been a film about Quake either, to my knowledge. So I guess that's not why it's not really in the conversation.
No, like like Doom had the Rock, and that's why I kind of don't like it, because like.
Well, what was cool about it though is that it kind of embraced the whole like first person shooter like in Doom whole aspect, because we have those scenes where it's basically like out of a video game. So actually I really liked that aspect of the film. The rest of the movie was not that great. And horror, movie adaptations of video games have a long track record of being terrible. So I'm not
Stay
that
Alive
surprised,
though,
but-
like that was its own.
Oh yeah, Stay Alive is like this whole other thing because that is not like an adaptation of a video game that exists.
It makes its own, and then you
Yeah.
just play through it.
It is about a video game that fucking kills people. Like Stay Alive is so genius. Like
I love that movie.
yeah, I haven't really thought about it like that, but it is really a genius film.
We haven't
because-
talked about that, have we?
No, not really. I mean,
Ooh.
it's such a good movie, and it created its own video game. And actually, I wanted to play the video game that was in the movie.
I fucking didn't.
Well, not if it was actually haunted, but when I was just like looking at the gameplay and stuff, I was like, oh shit, this looks really cool because it looks like
It looked
actually
legit.
suspenseful. Obviously, if they updated the graphics and stuff now, then
I think a
it would
lot of
be
people
dope.
need to look into that Slender Man game because that shit
Oh
is
yeah,
really
Slender the
underrated.
Arrival. Yeah.
Because it's like first person perspective. It got the little camera.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he comes, you could see him standing on mountains behind you, just staring at you.
Damn.
I took some screenshots of it. Like I showed
Yeah.
you. Like
I mean, I'm so glad that video game technology has come this long way because now we actually have horror video games out that are actually scary. Like you see all those fucking reaction videos to like Amnesia and Outlast and stuff.
oh yeah, people fucking
Like those are
trip out.
crazy. Yeah, I mean, because it's actually scary. If you're just actually sitting there in front of your screen and you are actually able to put yourself firmly in the place of the character that you're playing and experiencing all these things. Like I think that's why horror video games have come such a long way and are so good now because you can do that. It's not just like you're looking at this 8-bit fucking pixel character.
You get to decide
You know?
if you would survive a horror movie. You get to find out.
I mean, it's really like you getting chased by all these monsters and shit. So
And that's what people love. People love themselves. They want to be included.
yeah.
If they had like an interactive horror movie where you could like choose your own, the choose your own
That would be
adventure
great.
games. We forgot to mention the Walking Dead games.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Like,
Walking Dead is
Those
excellent.
like choose your own adventure ones. Those are fucking dope.
Yeah, and the horror related ones like that are super interesting because that really is like, could you survive a horror movie kind of situation, But yeah, I mean, honestly, like I haven't really been that scared of like a horror film in a long ass time. But
Yeah.
like the last game I probably played that I got actually scared in was fucking Alien Isolation. See, because that like you can put yourself in the shoes of Ripley, and you turn around and you're facing down the fucking alien and the screen's like 10 inches in front of your face. Like that's terrifying. and
Yeah.
that thing would kill you like right away. That was one of my favorite games for sure, like all time probably, but definitely like in my top 5 horror video games.
Yeah, I need to definitely buy that. You told me about this.
It's so good. Like it's honestly gonna make you feel like nervous,
Bro, I play enough Dead by Daylight to be always on edge.
Yeah.
Nothing gets my heart racing like when I'm being chased.
It's
But once you get away, you feel like you've gotten away with like the best, like
Yeah.
the biggest thing you've ever gotten away with.
I feel like eventually, like once you get used to the multiplayer aspect of Dead by Daylight, yeah, you'll still be nervous and stuff, but it's not going to be like this overwhelming feeling of like suspense or dread. But Alien Isolation, I think, has that throughout almost the entire game because the atmosphere is crazy. You don't really have that many weapons. Like it is survival horror, like to the T. Like really the biggest thing about the game is hiding. Right, and like using your resources for survival, which is kind of similar to Dead by Daylight,
Yeah.
but like it's literally just you. Like you don't rely on teammates or anything. And
Damn, what was it called? Alien what?
Alien Isolation, and this thing is just like
Damn.
traveling through the vents on this fucking abandoned ship.
It's like the whole
It's
game
so
on the
good.
ship.
Yeah, basically.
Is it a long game?
I don't remember like how long the actual campaign is, but I wouldn't say it's that long of a campaign. But you're gonna be like super engrossed by it. Like it's really good. I really like the first person survival horror games. Like those are probably my favorite. I mean, The Evil Within is third person, but yeah, the like serious survival horror games, like the single player ones, are probably my favorites. And I don't know, I just really like them. And I'm glad they're coming out with more games. I mean, we've got Resident Evil 2 reboot, System Shock reboot coming out. The Last of Us Part 2, that is going to be amazing. We've got Days Gone. I think you may have seen something about that. That one's been hyped up a lot. Like that's that huge like zombie one.
Like
where,
with the open map, like what's it called? Like the
yeah,
it has just a giant world. Yeah,
and it's got literally like waves of zombies coming.
7
at you.
Days to Die was pretty good. Left 4 Dead, we
Oh,
forgot
yeah.
to mention those, but those are
Oh, yeah.
specifically like zombie. You know, zombies aren't really that scary. But
Yeah, those are other like multiplayer like shooter, like zombie games. Like
Yeah.
they're still horror related, but I mean they definitely have like a bit of a different feel to them. I really just love like, like Fatal Frame, Silent Hill, Resident Evil, like Evil Within. Like those games are my personal favorites because I feel like those games they get really intense, but just the whole atmosphere of the game really makes you feel like on edge all the time.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, those are definitely my favorites. I'm super happy like with where horror video gaming is right now, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I think it's just going to continue to blow up, especially if they just like keep being passionate about releasing these games.
And if they like release like maybe something super popular, like you know what I'm saying, like it has to be like a hit. Like it can't just be like some just independent trash for $3 on the Xbox store.
Yeah.
But sometimes those games do it. I bought Slenderman for $3 and look what happened.
Yeah. I mean, that game's great.
That's one of the scariest fucking games I have.
Yeah, I mean the indie developers I think are definitely where it's at with these games. So, did you ever see anything about the one that's supposed to be set in like World War II Germany where you're like in the trenches and there's these like huge fucking demon looking things? It's supposed to, I mean the whole game is supposed to be kind of like PTSD related.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
That game has been getting hyped up like a lot. I'm really excited about that one. But yeah, man, I mean there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline and I'm super excited to see like where it goes.
As more game developers come to rise too, like we'll see a lot more new games, and that's what I like. Cause like, honestly, you could go to the Microsoft store, the PlayStation store, and find like a whole bunch of horror games, and like you never know which one you're gonna find that's really, really good.
I mean, I honestly think that a lot of them are pretty great. I really like love the ones that have like all these puzzles and stuff and all these mysteries and everything, and the ones that are set in like these gothic areas are some of my favorites. But yeah, do you have any final thoughts on horror video gaming?
Keep them coming. That's all I can say.
Yes, please do. I mean, we're huge fans, and I know a lot of people really like them as well. So yeah, be on the lookout for more of these games. We've got a couple still coming out this year that are pretty hyped up. Scorn, check that out. There's one called Allison Road. So yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know what some of your favorites are, and we're always down to talk to you guys about these topics. And I think like this is a really cool topic, because it's definitely kind of like getting more into the mainstream media and stuff. So next up though, we're gonna wrap it up here with our final segment, and this one is the chopping block. And this week's chopping block is going to feature a movie that's trending right now on Amazon Prime Video, and it's called Crush the Skull. So first off, what was your initial takeaway with this one?
I really liked it. Like it was like really entertaining. Like the comedic relief was like kind of perfect. Made you like not be like. Yeah. It kind of took out some of the suspense because you felt like sort of less worried for the protagonists. You thought they'll be fine. They're funny people. Like
yeah, I mean, here's what I have to say about it.
I like how they didn't like show the antagonist throughout like the majority of the film. Like you were kind of like kept in the dark about what the fuck is going on in here. Like
that was probably one of the parts I felt that did better. It was a really like weird movie to me because
I thought it was really odd.
It was super odd, and I think mainly it was because it felt more like a TV sitcom than it did a movie, let alone a horror movie.
Cinematography
do you know what I mean?
Was very like
the cinematography especially felt like a TV sitcom.
I don't want to say amateur, but like it felt like it was like a man. I don't want to
just say it.
It was bad. I had bad cinematography.
Here's what I legitimately think it was filmed like a TV sitcom because it has all those like super fast zoom in and zoom out shots on the characters.
It was like
there's
The Office.
Like anytime there's any kind of like joke or like comedic moment, it like zooms in or out on a fucking character. Like so weird. When
the Asian dude was like, black guy always dies first.
Yeah.
And he's Asian.
Yeah, he was.
How do you know he's Asian? Because I fucking know.
Yeah. very clearly Asian, but he's got like a fucking gold chain on and shit, and he's talking about buying tits for his girlfriend. Like,
Yep.
you know. But so I mean, I kind of enjoyed the comedic relief. I mean, it did feel forced sometimes. Like some of the jokes were a little cringy, but I did laugh. I mean, it was, you know, pretty legitimately funny for the most part. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it definitely took away pretty much all the suspense. I mean, to be quite honest. But you know, it was consistently pretty funny. So, I mean, it's not like that's not like a negative point exactly for me. But I mean, I just thought the cinematography was super weird. But and then the score was like pretty fucking weird too.
I like the actual movie though. If you don't pay attention to that stuff, I like the twists. I like the antagonists.
Yeah, the acting was okay. Like it wasn't excellent.
I think the comedic relief, like I said, didn't like devalue like the horror.
Yeah, I felt like maybe a little bit, but I mean, it was very clearly meant to be a black comedy horror movie, you know.
It was kind of weird how
So-
like the chick kept laughing though. She laughs
Yeah.
when she's nervous like 500 times.
Yeah, that was a running joke that I feel like could have ended after like the second time. You know, like it didn't really need to show up in the movie like 5 times or whatever, but
I agree.
you know, whatever. But anyway, you know, it's not really like super relevant to the story. We're not going to give any fucking spoilers about that or anything, but yeah, overall I would say I enjoyed it. I mean, the special effects were, I mean, they weren't like super plentiful, but they were okay. I did like the story. The characters were honestly super forgettable. Like I don't care about any of them. So there was that. The acting was okay. The soundtrack was I mean, nothing special, but it was a fun movie, you know. So for me, I would say it's not chopped. I think you should go check it out.
Yeah, it's
but,
not chopped. You should check it out. I mean, I'll watch it again if I have to.
yeah, I mean, I think there's better movies out there. That's what I'm gonna say, but I'm not gonna chop it. I mean, I think it's worth a watch for sure. It's not like, you know, some fucking dude just picked up his camera phone and just, you know, got some of his friends together and just recorded a movie. I mean, there's some polish, and it is legitimately funny in some scenarios and stuff, but I did think that the twist was kind of predictable, honestly.
At first, yeah, when she kind of like mentioned something that was off about
Yeah.
someone's appearance.
Yeah, it was just kind of weird how the character was portrayed, but I don't want to give anything more than that away. But yeah, I felt like the twist was sort of predictable. I mean, let us know what you guys think, but overall, it was an enjoyable film. You know, like I was mostly intrigued by it. So it does have 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, if that means anything to you.
Does it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think there were like 6 reviews that were fresh, so take that, you know, with that what you will.
I don't know. More people need to see it, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely a really low key movie. Like I just randomly passed by it on Amazon Prime. So, but yeah, I don't really have like that much more to say on it. I feel like I've pretty much hit all the points I was trying to say.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. You know, I really liked it, to be honest. Like it was weird. It was fucking like I didn't like the cinematography, but I really liked it for whatever reason. I think it was just the guy, the killer guys it was just some regular, but you could tell there was something fucking wrong with the guy. But
yeah, see, he was just like an average character to me, but I can see like why you would like him.
yeah, I just liked him because he was just an oddball. You know, like those are always the guys. Like the cop should have knew right away because like the way that looked, the guy that had, and then then he got.
But I think we both know why he didn't think that.
Yeah, can't be.
Yeah.
He's a white man.
Yeah.
Can't be guilty.
But yeah, so it's not chopped for you?
No, not chopped for me.
Yeah, so go check this movie out. It's on streaming on Amazon Prime Video right now. Probably in a couple other places too if you look hard enough. So go check out Crush the Skull. Came out 2015, directed by Viet Nguyen. And
Another thing I wanted to mention before the fucking stupid the sound and like the way the chick said "crush the skull" in the movie.
Yeah.
When she's like, "You're gonna have to
crush the
skull." Dun dun dun.
It was kind of meta.
Yeah,
in certain ways.
Yeah,
you know?
it was. That's what I. It was just. Oof,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was. I mean, obviously, it was super deliberate because of just what the movie was.
I don't know. I'm too hungry to even care about it. I'm just saying, go watch it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely go check it out. Let us know what some of your favorite horror games are. I mean, I'm always down to check out more because I feel like I didn't really get to see that many. Let us know what you think about I Know What You Did Last Summer. And you can chat with us all you want on all our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Grave Discussions. And we're on Twitter at GraveDiscSRD. So make sure to follow us. Leave us some comments. If you have any questions, suggestions, whatever, just like we love to hear from you guys.
We're here always.
Yeah, we're always here for you, babies, and we're not gonna leave.
Never.
Be sure to stay tuned and catch all of our newest episodes. And if you haven't seen certain episodes, you can find our archives on the Sports Radio Detroit website. So I think that's pretty much gonna wrap it up here, Sam.
That is, and we'll see you guys next week on Grave Discussion.
This has been an SRD production.